Hello and welcome to another episode of Andy's Chomping at the Bit, brought to you by Big Andy Media, the official sponsor of every Friday episode of Andy's Chomping at the Bit. So, today I decided to talk about happiness, mainly because I'm finding more and more people, I shouldn't say more and more people, I'm noticing the difference more and more between the perception people have of happy and the way I see it, I guess, and I think that it plays a bigger part in people's struggles than they realize. Um, so first off, I want to, as far as happiness, when I refer to happiness, I'm referring to I see happiness as a state of mind. So it resembles closely and ties closely with content. So if you're happy, then you're content. Doesn't always mean if you're content you're going to be happy, but but you have to be content in order to be happy in my mind. And don't get confused content with complacent. Huge difference there. Okay, so with that being said, one thing I can comfortably say, at least in my observation with people, it doesn't matter what you have in life. You could have the perfect childhood. You can have, an amazing family, wife, kids, or I should say partner and kids, because not everyone's going to be listening to this as a guy or straight or whatever. So anyway, you could be married, have kids, have a great job, have a lot of money, and still be miserable. You could still be sad. You could still feel empty. And realistically, that's why quite a few people, even in those circumstances, there's still a suicide rate. And yeah, part of it is, what's a lot mental health. But you can still have all those things and feel, not be happy and still feel lonely. And that's because happiness really is a state of mind. And at the same time, you can have nothing. You could be no family, very few friends, if any, no money, homeless, no job, and still be happy. And it's hard for a lot of people to grasp. And for a long time in my life, it was hard for me to grasp. But like I said, happiness is a state of mind. So if you're not, let me go on to myself real quick. Before I went through my spiral with addiction, I had on paper a very, very good life. I had a good education. I was getting another education. I had a decent job. Financially, I was doing all right. I had my own place. I wasn't married or have kids, but everything visually seemed good. I seemed happy. I was wearing a mask, for the record. But I wasn't happy. It didn't matter if I had money. It didn't matter how many toys I had, as far as gadgets, and it didn't matter how many friends I had, how well I got along with people. None of that mattered to me. I wasn't happy. I had this empty feeling, and I always felt that if I had the next thing, it'd fill it. I felt that if I was in a relationship, it'd fill that emptiness, that hole. I felt if I had more money, it'd fill that, and if I had more things in my life, I'd be happy. All these things that I needed to feel happy, without those, I felt that I wouldn't be happy. And so I equated many things in that point in my life with being happy. The problem is those things might bring me joy. They might bring me some pleasure and satisfaction in the moment. But they don't bring me happiness. I'm not really happy from those, as far as the state of mind. Like I said, it brings me joy in the moment, but it's not happiness. And don't get me wrong, joy is nice. Uh, but with with the combination of that and not openly talking about the things I was struggling with, this sent me down a spiral, sent me down that dark road. And even early on in my recovery, not talking about when I first went to treatment recovery, which is actually the start of my recovery. I'm talking about the second time I went to treatment, the early stage of my current sober clean streak of 2+ years. During that that time, uh, I still felt that money was crucial to getting back on my feet. I felt that the struggle would have to be temporary because after, you know, I was looking ahead essentially. Things are tough now, but eventually I'll be happy. And that attitude never had made me happy in the past. I just want to put it out there. Never was satisfying enough. So, but it was when I was in treatment that second time where I think things clicked finally for me, where I realized, and it's heavy on the as far as the value is very much tied with the concept of living in the moment. I can't be looking ahead to it's not looking at the end point, look and just enjoying the journey in the moment. When I learned to really understand that and embrace that, living the moment right now, not looking at, okay, if I work really hard right now, I can be happy later. Well, if I work really hard right now, I'll be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish, which will allow me more opportunities for not just for growth, but for to do things I enjoy, to have more leisure activities. But happiness has to be right now. If I put off happiness as in state of mind until then, I will be chasing happiness. I'll never be happy. And so I started understanding that concept around then. And over time, I've actually built on that stronger. Because I truly do believe that happiness has no... Happiness is literally what's going on up here mostly. So if you aren't able to be happy when you have absolutely nothing, you're never really going to be happy, as in sustainably happy, when you have something. You'll be able to fill the hole, or you'll be able to patch the hole with joy, and you'll have great experiences, but you'll still have that emptiness, that happiness that you're holding out on won't be there. It's kind of like setting up disappointment subconsciously. You have to be happy first. and it's not just a financial thing. People think that with relationships, they feel that they're down on their luck. They're not happy because they're alone. And someone else, I mean, this is one thing I can comfortably say in my life, because I struggled on that one for a long time. Like I said, my pre-addiction and then even during active addiction was my biggest pitfall, was that thought that, well, the reason I'm not happy, the reason I'm miserable, blah, 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 is because I'm alone, because there's no significant other. Well, that's not true. That's one thing I can say now that I've learned. I'm still single, but I'm not lonely in this situation. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. And I've started the dating world, and I'm enjoying that. But I'm doing it not to try filling a hole, because the hole isn't filled with material. The hole isn't filled with someone else. The hole is filled by working on myself. The hole is filled by continually pushing myself to be better. That's filled the hole. Driving to do what I want to do with my life, pursuing my goals, waking up each day, enjoying the moment, not getting stuck looking at the future or dreading back on the past, just focusing on the now and making the most of my now. That has brought me happiness. That has filled any hole. As far as, my goal for my professional drive, my relationship drive. Well, the professional drive is because, they're both part of balance. Finding balance has brought me a lot of happiness. It's made my life pleasant as well. So, but it's put me in a happy state of mind. And like I said, the relationship that aside from bringing balance in my life, that also allows me to share a lot of the experiences that I have while happy. It allows me to share the joy and the pleasures and all these satisfying experiences of my journey, which is an amazing thing. And getting to experience other people's, someone else's journey is also amazing. But it all means nothing if you're not happy to begin with. And I had to find that out in the past, and and that's one thing that I am happy with right now, or pleasant, content with in my life is my state of mind. I've had my state of mind in some very not so healthy states. I've been caught chasing things in life, whether it be fame, whether it be fortune, materials, relationships. Those aren't sustainable things for happiness. Now, relationships and family and friends, and including that in your life and having those in your life, they're a great resource for support. But they cannot, in my eyes, they cannot be the force that brings happiness. They are the result, and additions after happiness or with happiness, but they are not happiness. None of those things in themselves will bring you happiness. That's my experience with it, and that's okay. I appreciate my riding my journey. It's not a skyrocket up, and it's not no longer a plummet down. It's going on an economic standpoint. It's like a healthy stock market. An unhealthy one, it spikes and plummets and spikes and plummets. A healthier one, it has its ups and downs, but they're not nearly as jagged, those points, and still you get a slight movement up. That's how I like my journey right now, and it's been that way. There's, like I said, I have low points still, but they're not nearly as low. I have high points still, but I'm able to put them into perspective too. I'm content with my life is. I'm optimistic where things are heading in my life. By no means am I complacent about it, but I am definitely optimistic about it. And I think part of the reason that it works so well as far as my outlook is because of the things I value, and being okay with falling short on things while learning. It's I really do enjoy the journey. There's moments that I get scared still. It's life. I have yet to meet someone who truly doesn't ever face fear. Uh, I mean, I know some people that will say that they're never afraid, um, which is a sense of being afraid to admit that they can be afraid from sometimes. Uh, but I have met quite a few people that will admit that they're afraid, but don't let fear control them. Don't let it paralyze them from doing what may be uncomfortable, what may be scary. So I look up to those people a lot. Anyway, I just wanted to make my point on happiness. I know society often wants to push material. A lot of that's also driven with business, corporate interest in a sense. As far as, that's a great way to get people to purchase a product. Make them feel that this is the key to happiness. In our society, when we look at things, as far as haves and have-nots, we look at the ones who have a lot of material as the happy ones, but it's a very manipulating look. It's not true. I can comfortably say that. You can let I'll leave you with this. You can let this society define what happiness is and be chasing it. Or you can find what makes you happy. What will make you happy no matter what, as in no matter where your life is, whether you got everything or nothing, what will make you happy in those moments, regardless of status. And find that. And I can comfortably say, I can't guarantee it, but I can comfortably say that you won't spend your life chasing happiness that way. So that's a task or a food for thought if you'd like. So that's the episode today on happiness. I do appreciate you guys tuning in for that. But I do also want to mention that the Singing for a Cause requested live performances, they're supposed to be every the first and third Sunday of every month. This past month, we actually did the second and third Sunday. Originally, I also was having them from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. You'll notice that on the screen, I got rid of where it says 11 to 1. That's because I have not yet decided on the time frame moving forward. I do like the 2-hour time frame, and I was debating going from 1 to 3. But I'm finding that with, between church in the morning, which was interfering with the 11 to 1 because my church gets out at 11, and then during football season, you have football from, starting at 1. It was making it hard to find a time slot. And I didn't want to do Saturday because I do a college sports thing, Saturday's college football. So I was thinking 4 o'clock, 4 to 6. So feedback would be great, whether you send it to me directly or in the comment on a good time for that live performance. So that's all I have for you today. Like I said, greatly appreciate you taking the time to tune in, and I will see you guys again on Monday, actually, for another Daily Biscuit, and next Friday for another Andy's Chomping at the Bit. So take care.